I'm on fire.
Jive, welcome, ladies and gents. It's Monday night. There's only one place to be on a Monday night. It's Ready Steady Football with myself, Khalid. Jive's looking very fresh. I think just back from a good workout. Sushi looking nice and fresh there as well, connecting from other devices. Sorry, we've got some technical glitches tonight, ladies and gents, but bear with us. We are coming to you live. That's the best way. We want your comments, please. We're live on YouTube and on Facebook. So your comments, there's been a lot of football, a lot of excitement, a lot of twists and turns to the plot of the season in the Premier League, in Serie A and in La Liga. We're hoping to get your views as well while we're on the show. And please feel free to drop your comments in the chat on Facebook and on YouTube. Jive, welcome. We're waiting for Swoosh to connect, but we're going to carry on. Welcome.
Evening, Mr. MKV. Are you good?
I'm good. It's been a good weekend.
I can see you smiling. I can see that you haven't seen that smile for a long time, but it's good. It's good.
No, it's there. The smile. We've been working on the smile. We've been practicing for the last few weeks.
On how when it's going to come out.
Yeah. You check in the mirror. You see how the smile goes, and then you know when you're ready to move. So, no, it's been an interesting weekend, Jive. Big upset. Obviously, the title race has been blown open. City and Spurs. Good match. Very good match for the Premier League. Good for the title race as well. And Scousers are celebrating like they've won the league.
Yeah, look, I think a few weeks ago everyone thought the title race is over, and it shows it can change in a split second. Over a week or two. And look, I think Liverpool celebrated this win more than Spurs, and Spurs really needed this win because they're coming from I think 3 games defeated. They haven't won in a long time, so it was a massive win for them. But also you could see the fatigue and the tiredness in City playing Sporting on Wednesday, coming to a tough Spurs. To playing at City, but obviously Spurs is a team that run at you also when on the counter attack. So it wasn't easy for City, and I think once Riyad Mahrez scored that optional time equalizer, you thought, okay, 2-2. Yeah. But it shows again in the Premier League and in football, it takes a second to score a goal and to change things. It changes.
Yeah, everyone thought with that equalizer, City came back and it was going to be a draw. But full credit. Harry Kane had probably one of his best games of his season so far. He's come under a lot of fire for not performing, but quality striker, Jive. He puts the ball away.
Yeah, he puts the ball away. And look, Kane's game has changed. He drops a bit deeper now. He links up with Son. Even like you look at the first goal, the pass he played, like a no-look type of pass to release Son. So his game has changed. But Harry Kane in the box, and it's shown over the last few years, he's clinical. And that's why City wanted a player like Harry Kane in the beginning of the season.
The goal he scored for the winner, that was 100% desire.
Yeah.
That was he wanted to get to that ball. He climbed for it. He beat the defender to it. Okay, it was a half jump from Kyle Walker, who's not the best in the air anyway.
Yeah.
So you'd fancy Harry Kane 10 out of 10 times to beat Kyle Walker in the air. But hunger and desire in that goal.
Yeah, look, I think Spurs once they found themselves in the attacking zone with a few seconds to go, put it in the box. You got nothing to lose. Throw yourself at it.
Was it a fair result on the balance of play though, over the game?
Look, if you look at the stats, and if you're a person of football that looks at stats, it will show City 70% possession, and Spurs played it basically on the counter. Okay. So I think City will feel hard done. Maybe they didn't take their chances and they dominated possession, but City dominates possession wherever they go.
It's about creating your chances and taking your chances.
And taking it. I think that was the difference. Spurs created those chances and took it.
So Spurs created the better chances, of course, and obviously took.
Look,
I think it's an important point you mentioned. We spoke about people often get misled by the possession stats.
Yeah.
And it's not so much how long you're holding possession for, but it's about how effective you are with the ball. And we know the game's changing now. You can dominate play, you can have 70, 80% possession, and you can still lose a game.
Yeah.
It's about how quick you are in your transitions and what you can do with the ball. Sometimes, I mean, you can have a lot of possession, but you're playing in your own half or you're knocking the ball across the pitch. So it's not a true reflection.
You look, I like to call it in a coaching terms the 3 Ps, where you got possession, penetration, and pressure. And if you can master those three,
Yeah.
it's you got a successful performance.
Ideally,
Yeah,
absolutely. So it was a deserved win, but now this obviously comes and throws the title race wide open, um, because this means now that Liverpool are 3 points behind, 6 points behind Manchester City, but Liverpool have a game in hand as well. So if
yeah,
Liverpool win that game in hand, it's 3 points, and we've still got 12, 13 games left for the end
yeah.
of the season. So it's going to be a fight to the end. It depends now, I suppose, who has the metal to go fully ahead. And bearing in mind, both teams are playing in Europe as well.
Yeah. Look, it's going to be interesting, and they still have to play each other. If I'm not mistaken, they still got to play each other, City and Liverpool. Um, and like you said, and you spot on is who has a better run in Europe. It might affect their. You never know. It might work two ways. The team that has a better run in Europe might affect the league performance, and the team who might fail in Europe might have a better run in the league. You know.
Let me ask you this in terms of who's got the better first 11 for the run in, and who's got the better squad for the run in. Liverpool, City. Who comes out stronger in those two departments? Who has a better 11 and who has a better squad?
Oh, I think to choose a 11 it's hard. I think to choose a just to say, because I think both teams in certain departments are better than each other. You get what I'm saying? I mean, if you look at Liverpool's front three, I think are a bit more clinical than Man City's front three.
Okay.
You know, if you look at Liverpool's front three, you give them 5 chances, they put 3 or 4 away.
Okay.
City over the few weeks, they're not taking their chances quickly. But
Yeah,
then if
yeah,
you're going if you're going into the midfield area, I think City dominate the midfield area. They got much better ball players, and I think defensively it's a toss up. It's a 50-50. Goalkeeping it's a 50-50. So I think their squads are very similar. Um, what I like of Liverpool is the signing of the boy Diaz. I think he's brought a new lease of life.
Okay.
He's coming there with a new set of hunger, and he seems to have lifted the players around him also. So it will be interesting. It all depends. Like you said, that Europe run might be very crucial.
True, and the thing is, obviously, in the Premier League, we know there's teams now fighting for relegation, and those relegation teams, you can't take anything for granted.
Yeah.
Because on their day, they can turn leaders around. They can turn the result on its head. So it's not going to be seemingly on paper an easy run, because they know now they've got to fight every single game for those points, and even a draw now is going to be drop points,
Yeah.
considered a loss for the two of them.
So yeah.
That should be interesting, though. Let's see how that goes. Do any of them play your team in the run-in? Liverpool
Uh,
or City? Do they play Arsenal? Because we're
no, I
talking
think
about Arsenal and Brentford now.
Liverpool.
So Arsenal have a say in the title race.
Yeah. I think Liverpool. If I'm not mistaken, Liverpool come to Emirates.
Okay.
City and Arsenal, I think they finished in that. I think it was the December or the January game where Arsenal dominated that first half and threw it away in the second.
Yeah.
But Arsenal still have to play Liverpool. They still have to play Chelsea. We still got Spurs again. We still got United. So at 12
Okay.
points, 12 points, it looks like 12 points for the Gunners.
Easy 12 points for Arsenal.
Yeah,
Easy.
easy. Don't stress about that.
Well, it was a needed win against Brentford, considering what happened on the opening day. How did that game go?
Oof, look, it was again Brentford parking the bus and Arsenal dominating in that first half. I thought one or two VAR decisions on another day could have went Arsenal's way. I've seen it given the penalty, the tackles, but it didn't go their way. And I think when Arsenal went into the break at 0-0, they should have felt a bit hard done, not at least being 1-0 up. And when you come against teams that park the bus and are compact at the back, it's the first goal is very crucial. And if you don't get that first goal, you build with pressure and you build with pressure, and all of a sudden you can lose it. But early in Swoosh is back.
Sorry,
How come?
schoolboy error, and I forgot to update my drivers and do my
Oh
Windows
no! So
update.
take note, please,
No,
viewers. Take note. Take note.
no,
This is
Swoosh,
when
you
you're going to a
see,
match prepared. You can't leave your shin pads or your boots behind.
yeah.
Yeah,
This is for preparation.
Swoosh,
Let's
you
just
that
schoolboy
make it
error. I
student,
hope
well,
you,
viewers.
you that
I
student
hope
that
you
went
guys
to school
finished
with
the
no
United
pen.
game.
No, we
I hope
haven't. We
you guys
haven't.
finished. Oh
We're
shit!
waiting for you. So
Saving
so
your
Okay,
boots
just
carry
for
on.
you.
I'm back.
You were
I
so
saying,
got
just
my
Jai?
espresso.
just carrying on about the Arsenal game. I think it was crucial that they got the early goal of Smith Rowe in early in the second half, and then from there I think the pressure was a bit less. And big ups to Pepe when he came on, he did well also. But the youngsters of Arsenal are playing well. They're playing with a confidence. And if you look at the log and if you count the games in hand, it's Arsenal's to lose.
It should be interesting. We spoke about that last week as well. That battle for fourth, and I think it could extend. I mean, if Chelsea drop points, one or two games lost or two draws, it could be a battle for third and fourth.
Yeah.
That should be interesting. And speaking about Chelsea, the World Club champions left it very, very late at Crystal Palace. Ziyech in the last minute. How did that game go?
Sushi, you want to cover that? Or must I cover it?
How's my sound? Everything okay?
Your
Crystal
sound
Palace,
is good,
Chelsea,
your
good. Your
glasses
thoughts on
look
that
good, your
game?
hairstyle looks good.
It's a Jurgen Klopp glasses. But on the Chelsea game, there's only 1 point I want to start off with, and that's that stat. I don't know if you guys seen it about Lukaku, how many times he touched the ball.
Twice.
It was a staggering stat for Big Rom. I'm sure he must be saying I should have stayed at Inter, but the man is just not coming right at Chelsea.
So,
But
but now this is an important point. In fact, I wanted to discuss this with you guys. We often compare players when they come from Italy to England, and often when players don't perform, it's a question of the new club or this or these types of things. But I think we need to maybe look at the quality between the two leagues and the different style of play. With the exception of very, very few players, a lot of players who've come from Italy to England haven't managed to perform, or they've looked better in Italy rather.
we said it
Lukaku,
before, Dave. There's a lot of space in Italy, and the England game is so compact. You're running into teams like Brentford, Burnley. These type of guys. Everyone plays a pacey game, so it's agreed. It's totally different. I think Italy is a lot more slower and more defensive. And Lukaku seems to be, well, like they say, sometimes you mustn't go back. Move on.
Going
You've
back
been
is
there,
the
done
worst.
that.
That's why they say the first option in football and the first option in life is always look forward. Don't go back. Eh?
Yeah,
never
don't
go
go
back.
back.
But
Never go. Will you take her back? Never.
Don't.
just
Rather not.
just a quick one on Chelsea, guys. I don't know if you guys also noticed the fatigue in Chelsea. Must know they come from the World Club Championships.
Yeah.
It was look that Palace Chelsea game. It was a scrappy game, and I think with them getting 3 points in this game was good enough because they had a tough week. In the World Club Championships, traveling back, it takes a toll, and you could see that in their performance. And I think Tuchel also was clear about that in his press conference that the players were fatigued. Just on Italy, Swoosh. I don't know. You guys watch that league much more. You don't find in Italy that the defenders defend much deeper and much more compact. So when you defend deep, a player like Lukaku can come more into the game because he relies on physical strength more than pace. If you guys understand what I'm trying to say, and the spaces behind him are not as much. Like in England, sometimes they push up, sometimes he has to look for the ball over the top, and he's struggling with that pace. But in Lukaku, if he's the type of player that's more 18 box, and that's why you look at players like Zlatan, Dzeko, they're not moving much, but they're more central, but they're scoring goals. Giroud. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Good observation. Yeah. It's a good observation.
Look, you also had a good strike partner there at Inter in Martinez. And your chemistry between the two up front is always key. But a good point I think you guys made in the start. He seems to be not adapting to the pace of England. Yes.
Look,
He's still a quality guy, no doubt.
I think there was a twin strike partnership.
And he still
Whereas-
had guys like Barella and the quality in midfield. But at United he wasn't the greatest also. So is it the English league and Lukaku? Because
Well, look,
internationally,
no. To be fair, at United there was a decent goal return from him. He didn't fit into the style of play, and people were getting frustrated with the amount of chances he missed. But his goal return was decent.
but 3 points is 3 points, and like you say, coming back from the
Absolutely. I think for Chelsea, it's just the 3 points that mattered, and the fact that however they got it, they got it. Because they're looking behind them and they're seeing the battle behind them happening, coming up for third place. So you never know. Anything could happen. Swoosh, your team. A bit of a scare against Norwich. But
no,
came
it's
back
not
landmark
you know
goal
what?
for Salah. 150 goals for Salah. Well done, Mo Salah. And Sadio Mane is overtaken, I think it's John Barnes on the Liverpool all-time scorers list.
The two important guys, but I seen your caption again, in our advert for our show when you said we came from behind and had a take. Go to a club on ladies' night, we're gonna come back with a lady. Norwich. So don't disrespect Norwich. We knew we were gonna do the business, just
Look, but
made
it
every
came from behind. It was a scare, and it was a big deflection. But Norwich, I mean, they're struggling for relegation, so they'll take whatever they can get.
Yeah, there was a Timo Pukki chance. I was watching. I had some. My cousins were here from the UK, believe it or not, Leeds, and they were here for the weekend. So we were watching the game together with my father, who's a Mank. And you know what?
Good
The
man.
Timo
What a
Pukki
good
could
man.
have
Look
put
after him.
Norwich ahead, but in the end, look like you said, everyone was happy. We all went for Maghreb Namaz. Liverpool got 3 points, and Ed Eccles.
Maybe
They
do that a
know.
bit more often. They'll get some more points. But
Yeah.
we were just talking about this earlier. In fact, I'll ask you the same question I asked Jive, because we've got a nice run-in happening now with City and Liverpool coming toward the end of the season. 12, 13 games left. In terms of a first 11 and in terms of a squad, between those two, who's better balanced for the run-in? City or Liverpool? And don't be biased.
No, City by far. Look at the depth in the guys. They still got quality on the bench. But City can self-destruct, and we spoke about this last week. And this is the first the Spurs game. Is maybe a start of. So City have been rampant throughout. So for Liverpool, we're just waiting for a City slip up. That's all we can hope and pray for. I don't think
hopefully take advantage of those points. Those points
Yeah,
drop,
if City
because
keep their foot on the gas, they're going to be difficult to catch. And yes, I think they're better equipped in the depth than us. But
it is City's to lose, guys, like we spoke about previously. The title is City's to lose.
But it's not over.
No, it's not over. It's far
keep
from
playing.
Swoosh,
far from over.
I made a point to Mr. MKV when you were offline. I believe Liverpool's front three is more dangerous than City's front three.
No, for sure. Offensively. But
yes, in the midfield, I think. Yes, in the midfield, I think City are much better. But
Midfield and defensively.
Defensively, I think it's a toss-up. There's some that might be weaker, there's some that might be stronger. So it's a 50-50. But I think when the Spurs win, and if Liverpool can win that game in hand, I'm not sure against who's it, but if they win that game in hand, that 3 points, it's not much. It's not much at all.
City's defense hasn't given much away this season. The defense has been really, really tight. So overall, I mean, we've spoken about Cancelo a number of times. We've spoken about their right back. We've spoken about their centre back pairing as well. Ruben Dias is, on another level. So Liverpool defensively, Konate is settling in quite nicely. Van Dijk is Van Dijk. There's still a hole defensively with Trent, but he's going forward. He's on another level.
No, you see, this man wants to throw first.
No first. We're being objective here. We're being objective.
How is it a hole? Please tell me.
Trent is not the best defensively. No,
He's
no.
the
Let's
best
be fair.
fullback in the game currently.
Okay, so listen to what I'm saying, Swoosh. Trent going forward is probably him and the right back for PSG are probably the two best in the world right now going
Hakimi.
forward.
Yeah.
Defensively, Trent's positioning as a point of weakness for Liverpool. This is a fact. His defensive positioning is a weakness. If you can point out the weakness, there's not much in the Liverpool team that is one weakness.
I wouldn't even call it a weakness. It means how Cancelo, you're saying, oh, it's probably in the same mold. Most of the
No,
attacking
Cancelo
forwards-
doesn't leave holes at the back. Cancelo doesn't leave holes at the back. Watch
What
the
else
next game.
is-
We'll talk about this again. Watch the next
Alright,
game. We'll talk about
but I
this.
still say,
Before we close up on Liverpool, I want to ask Swoosh a question.
Yeah.
Many years ago, you said if Liverpool win the league, you'll get married. They won the league.
yes.
They won the league.
happened?
You never got married. So if they win it now this year, can we buy the suit?
COVID-19 was, there was like some, the deal lapses after 10 years or something like that. There was something in the fight. Look, on a serious note, it's not over.
We can't leave it for
right?
another title, Jive. Because it's going to happen once every 30 years. We can't leave it for another
And
title.
if we win another title, MKV, we won't see him again on the show.
It won't be
You know
30
when the
years.
guy retires like that? Yeah, it's like
not
those
gonna be
WWE matches. You know when they say you lose the game, you walk away from the WWF, and the guy never. It will be the last of MKV, but it's not over. Jokes aside, like you say, that game in the end is a big one, and we got Divock Origi. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Remember the name.
In fact, we were talking about the fixture list as well. Liverpool and City have to play each other. They've got to go to. They still got some big games ahead of them. They're going to. One of them is going to Arsenal. Both of them are playing United. So the title race is far from over. There's going to be a few more twists and turns.
And that's what we want,
Speaking of twists and turns, I told you guys the team is improving. So now they face the test. United faced the test against Leeds. They conceded
Leeds.
2 quick goals, and they needed to show character to come back from that in a match. I don't know if you guys watched the game, but that pitch and the rain was like a 1970s game from England, from the old First Division. There was water puddles everywhere. The ball skidding on some parts, the ball stopping in other parts. Point I'm making is United needed to show character, and they did. So full credit to Ralph for the in-game management. I think he's showing what he's made of. Jive, from a coaching point of view, I think the man's he's doing a good job considering.
Look, I've had a few discussions about Ralph and pressing and all these things. And okay, just one thing on the Leeds game, Mr. MKV and Swoosh, is Leeds are a type of team. They play the same way no matter where they go, home or away. They are free-flowing, accelerated down. Leeds can beat you 4-0 or you can beat them 6-0. So they'll always have that openness, So I knew it's going to be a game where there'll be goals. It just depends where it's going to come from. But credit to United, when Leeds came back to 2-2, they responded. Bruno scored a beautiful goal also. But, pressing and all these things, it takes time. It's done on the training field. And if you look at the last few years, which teams have been the better pressers? Is those coached by the Germans? You looked at Jurgen Klopp, you look at Ralph, you look at the Chelsea coach is not bad. And if you look at even Guardiola, his type of pressing improved after he came back from Bayern Munich.
Okay.
So just on a coaching point, if people are listening, you need to, one is coach pressing, and two, there's moments in the game you have to press and take advantage of it by scoring. And that's what you make. You can't just press for 90 minutes like a mad person and not capitalize from it. So when you're in that pressing mode, it's very important that you capitalize. So then you can, then you know how to play the game from there. Then you're managing the game well. And when Ralph came in, I think the way he wants United to play, it wasn't going to happen overnight. There's a lot of work that has to be done on the training field. And if you have a Mampara coaching you, that just knows the word press, but doesn't know how to do it, it will never come right. But this is a man that understands what he's looking for. So you need to give him time to get that into his players. And
sure,
credit to United starting the show, and let's see.
Given that, obviously, I mean, when he came in, he had a certain system in mind. I'm quite. I respect the fact that he's adapted his system. So he came in with a 4-2-2-2. He's played a 4-1-3-2. He's played a 4-1-4-1, and now he's played a 4-2-3-1. So he's adapting the system. What I like about him is he wants to play players in their best position. So if you're watching United recently, you're seeing Pogba, his game's lifted. You're seeing Bruno taking advantage. Jadon Sancho's playing his best football since he's joined the club. Diogo Dalot, fantastic. Okay, it was Leeds. Lindelof had a very good game from going back. So there's been marked improvements in the team. And one defeat in 12, there were signs that there is progression. The results weren't coming. Hopefully, this is something that will help to kick the results on as well, because they needed to turn a corner. When they go 2-0 down, when they 2-0 up, they concede, like it happened against Villa, it happened against a few other teams. Mentally, the players shut off. But here they came back from that. So that was a big plus.
I don't know what you think, Swoosh. It will be interesting to see the United Atletico Madrid. Is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah.
I think that will be an interesting game to see, because sometimes you're playing Leeds, it's different. Atletico Madrid, different kettle of fish. They play the game.
United might struggle in the run into the season, towards the end of the season. If for some reason something happens to Ronaldo, United don't have another striker. Cavani has been injured, unfortunately. He hasn't been on the bench either. There's no Greenwood. There's no Martial. Rashford can play in that role, but Rashford's not an out-and-out striker. That's the one area.
Do you guys not have the money to bail Greenwood out?
Even Bale's not going to help Greenwood right now. Even Bale is not going to help him out.
Look, first of all, I like the enthusiasm of MKV against Full United. And
but March is a big month. Sush, sorry, one more point.
They were second on the log and, like 5 points behind the leaders and not scrapping for fourth. But nevertheless, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt because the conditions
were... It was a cheap shot. Very cheap shot. But I'll let you have it. 3
points is 3 points. But on the Atletico game, I still believe CR7 is one guy that's got Simeone's number and will be the key in the tie. Atletico, we all know, a difficult team to go, especially in Europe. And but I just think the CR7 factor, he's always been one up on Atletico. And, that's the way I'm going. CR7.
Well, look, United have, Atletico's first leg is tomorrow. But March, United have probably the toughest run of fixtures from anybody. They're playing City, they're playing Atletico, they're playing Spurs, and they're playing Liverpool in March. So we'll see at the end of March how far this team has come. They could lose all their games. I don't think they'll lose. They'll go out with a fight. They might lose 1 or 2. Maybe they win their games. I'd like to think the latter. But that's enough about the Red Devils for now.
The teams always say, they want to avoid Atletico of most teams. It's just a tough place to go to. So it's going to be a good tie, interesting time.
Let's see what happens there. Just in rounding up the Premier League, Steven Gerrard now has lost more games as a Villa manager than he's won. The bad loss for them at home to Watford. And high-flying Everton in their first win brought down to earth by Southampton. So it's not all a bed of roses for those former Premier League players, big stars in the Premier League, but now they're getting a taste of the real work and the business end of the season. But let's look at the table then. So, Sush, we were talking about this earlier. City obviously leading on 63 points from 26 matches. Liverpool 6 points behind with a game in hand. Winning that game in hand means Liverpool goes 3 points behind City with 12 games to play. It's open. Chelsea on 50 points from 25 matches. Then United on 46 points from 26. However, Arsenal and Spurs are the ones to watch out for because Arsenal are on 42 points with 23 matches. So they've got 3 games in hand. And Spurs, 39 points, also 3 games in hand. So it all depends now what happens in those games that these two clubs need to catch up on. But look, you can only play who's in front of you, and you need to get the points on the board. So nothing's guaranteed. I think third and fourth are open, eh?
Yeah.
I think third and fourth are open.
Look, it's
There's still
interesting. I think it's going to go down to the wire, and let's see how it goes.
36 points to play for still, so there's a lot. There's a lot of football to play for. And it's a matter of going on a run. It's a matter of going on a run, 6, 7, 8, 9 games, and you're back in there. But it's interesting the way it's panning out, Sush. Your team's back in the title race. And speaking of your team, your favorite team, the old lady moving over to Serie A, climbed into fourth for the first time this season. Into the Champions League places. Well done, the old lady. Well done.
So, you know what? It's not a game to have been proud of, because considering Inter and Milan go through and we drew, Torino scored. I think it was Pallotti that scored a scuffed volley towards the end. But, it was a big 3 points for Juve to get more momentum. So I think
Points
we'd be
dropped.
disappointed with the result,
Points
especially
dropped for
being
Juve.
points dropped. And Derby Remol is always bigger in terms of pride and stuff in Turin, So I think Juve would be disappointed with that result. We've had a lot of games where we won up and you just can't, double the lead or increase the lead and teams get the equalizer in the end. Another setback was the Dybala injury again, out for 10 days. So, they've been gelling up front. Vlahovic came in for a bit of stick for his performance. He was nullified in that game. But, like I said, at point, we'd be very disappointed. But
the two January signings, though, I think you guys can be happy with those because they've gelled in quite nicely. Both Vlahovic and Zacharias, getting a decent run of minutes and putting in some decent performances.
And it's affected the whole team, like we said. But I'm disappointed with the weekend result. And I just hope it doesn't affect the momentum in tomorrow's game against Villarreal, because Juve, we've been losing. We've lost all the last round of 16 games in the last two Champions League. So tomorrow it's a bit of a bogey. And with the loss of Dybala, who was instrumental in that front three that you're talking about, he was the they were playing him more like a trequarista behind the front two, and he was dropping deep and that type of thing. So I don't know who's going to replace him, and we got to go to Villarreal without him. So
big surprise, Inter losing at home to Sassuolo. That wasn't expected, and actually 2-0 scoreline actually flattered Inter because they could have lost heavily in that game. Could have easily been a 4-0 defeat.
So you're going to get these type of guys, along the way that's going to dethrone your rivals and take away a few points. And that's where you got to get the momentum, Jive. If you lose your momentum against in game weeks like this, it's sort of, I would regard it as a failure. But in Milan drew.
Drop points for Milan as well. Absolutely. Yeah. They dropped points against Salernitana. They could have capitalized and strengthened their lead further at the top of the table because it's not looking, it's quite tight. It's quite packed. The top three are quite tight. I mean, Napoli is a contender for the title at the moment, the way things are going.
Yeah.
Sushi,
and you still got the guys breathing down you at fifth and sixth. So, they're all top seven. It can go either way.
I mean, if we pause to look at the table there, obviously you've got Milan on top, 56 points from 26 games. Inter have a game, they played a game less, but they're on 54 points. Obviously, if they win that game in hand, they'd go above Milan at the top of the table. But then Napoli's, I mean, their form right now has been phenomenal. And they've played 25 games and they're on 53 points. So anything can happen there. Juve climbing obviously much further back on 47 points, Juve and Atalanta. But that top three, it looks like a nice 3-horse race going in for the title towards the end of the season.
It's gonna be a bumper match, same as the Premier League.
So and they're playing. So some of these clubs are playing in the Champions League, and some of them are playing in the Europa League. That's obviously going to affect performances in Serie A as well, depending on which day they're playing, whether it's Saturday or Sunday.
Going to be nice. Napoli, Barca in the Europa League. Eh? So that's a tough one.
Who would have thought a headline Champions League fixture back in the day is now a Europa League fixture?
goes to show the depth of football.
And to think people used to tease Arsenal about playing Thursday nights, Jive.
Yeah, you see, everyone wants to join us. You see,
Things are turning around for Barcelona. Barcelona hitting form at the right time. Your man Aubameyang scored a brace for Barcelona. They beat
a hat
Valencia
trick,
4-1.
a hat trick.
No, he wasn't credited with the
He
third.
wasn't credited with the last with the third goal.
So he stole the match ball.
Yeah.
But Barcelona hitting form, and their goals are starting to come as well. 10 goals in their last 3 games. Obviously beating Valencia 4-1 this weekend. They're starting to click, and for the first time this season, like Juve, they've moved into the top 4.
Look, what we
So
said it
he's
again.
enjoying it.
I think Xavi is a coach that will bring that back. I mean, when he took over Barcelona, the confidence was low, and to take over a team, and even I've been doing a lot of studying and watching of his type of sessions. He's trying to bring the enjoyment back. Even if you look at the technical sessions and those type of things, he's trying to bring that enjoyment back. But at the same time, with bringing the enjoyment back, he's improving the players. And very few coaches know how to get that balance right. And I can see that happening. You can see Barcelona has always been a team that's comfortable on the ball, but now the confidence is there. It's nice to see Aubameyang on the score sheet. I mean, he's had a tough few months after being the disciplinary issues with Arsenal. He went to the AFCON, he didn't play, he had health issues, came back, the whole transfer debacle on the last day. So it's good, as a player, it's good to see him hitting the net. Because he's a quality footballer, and people like this, you want to see them playing, whether it's at Arsenal, whether it's Barca. And it's just good to see him finding a place where he's happy, and that's the main thing.
And we said we want to see Barcelona back in there, obviously challenging for honors, and that La Liga is worse off without Barcelona, but it's good to see them back in the mix there.
You have to.
But also good to see Sevilla and Real Betis mixing it up with the big boys. They're in the top 4. Sevilla is second. They dropped points against Espanyol. They were held at home by Espanyol. They could have actually climbed above, or capitalized on that lead that Real Madrid have, because Real Madrid obviously hitting form. They've continued. They dropped a few points with draws, but a 3-0 win for them against Alaves, and Karim Benzema back on the score sheet. So their lead at the top of La Liga is 6 points over Sevilla. Real Betis in third place on 46 points. And then Barcelona obviously climbed in there on 42 points. Atletico won. They were on a losing streak. So Atletico going to the Champions League match with United, having won the game, confidence boosted. That should make for an interesting Wednesday night between the two at the Wanda Metropolitano.
Are you nervous for the game, MKV?
Not at all. We don't believe in nerves. There's ice that runs through our veins. We don't believe in nerves.
You know what Simeone is going to do, their celebration.
The Iceman.
You know their celebration of Simeone's.
Yeah, we can't do it.
Nerves of steel.
We can't do it on a platform like this, but you know what I'm talking about.
Ronaldo knows well about that. I mean, he gave the return for that, So Ronaldo knows that too well. No nerves. No nerves.
So what are you calling it? What score are you calling?
Score.
Yeah. There's no before you say that the whole away goals thing, it's done away with, right?
It's done away with. I'm glad it's done away with.
So that's
is it immediate effect?
Yeah, Atletico always, they sort of play that away goal rules to suit them, And going
I'm
there
actually glad they've done away with it.
Yeah, because that could be also a factor in this game. So what are you calling United Atletico in Spain?
The away goals rule was introduced in the 50s or the 60s when teams had to travel, and it was quite difficult to travel. Not where it's so easy now, where they've got private jets and these types of things. So it was a matter of time before the goal was, the away goals rule was scrapped, and I think it's the right thing to do. Scoreline, I don't know.
Get a draw in Spain and get a win in Old Trafford.
No, you need to go for the win. Both games, there's no away goals mean nothing. You need to go for the win. You need to play for a win. So I'd be happy with a 2-1. I'd be very happy with a 2-1 or anything more. I think United are capable of that. I think United are capable of that. Hopefully, no big injuries, and then players continue with the form they're on. I think you can pull a 2-1 result. Even a draw would be a good result coming back to Old Trafford. But these games, you wanna make sure you get a good result in the first leg. There's no guarantees. There's no guarantees. Look, I mean, if it was Paris, it's a different story. I mean, that's our training ground, but we didn't get Paris.
You had him in the quarterfinal.
Jive, our local teams were involved in the Champions League, CAF Champions League, Sundowns and Amazulu. Some good results.
Yeah, look,
Amazulu-
Amazulu got a win, which Benny is happy with. And look, Benny has been talking from the beginning of the Champions League that he feels that he had a stronger team than Chiefs had last year. And Chiefs went all the way to the final. So that's what he's striving for. He feels his team can do it.
Yeah.
Only time will tell. So it's good to start off with the 3 points in the group stages. Sundowns, I don't think they'll be too disappointed getting a draw away from home. I think the Sundowns, the key game now will be this weekend when they come up against their former manager at Al Ahly in Pitso Matsimani.
That should be a nice game for the neutrals.
I think that's going to be an interesting game. Tensions on both sides. Sundowns have 3 coaches. Al Ahly have 1. So it will be interesting to see. And obviously, when you play your old team, there's always that I want to beat you and you want to beat me and prove this and prove that. So that will be a nice game. Pirates lost in the cup competition. They went down 3-2 yesterday. So they'll feel a bit disappointed. But I think Sundowns and Amazulu will be happy with their results.
And interesting teams they played against. I mean, Sundowns traveled to Sudan to play Al Merrikh.
Yeah.
And Amazulu had Horoya traveling here, team Horoya FC from Conakry in Guinea. Yeah. So they're getting exposed to football from different places. But interesting point, observation made as well during AFCON was the level of football in the so-called smaller teams in Africa. And you can see it filtering down to the clubs as well. So, for example, a team like Gambia, who 10, 15 years ago, nobody would have considered. Burkina Faso. These teams play decent football. Gambia has, if I'm not mistaken, 10 or 12 players who play in Europe. Their striker plays for Roma as well. So, they've got some decent players. And I think the level of football, the gap has closed between bottom and top, where teams who used to be smaller teams can now actually challenge bigger teams.
Yeah, look, I think we've had this discussion a few times. And I think when you're singing one song in your mother body, naturally you're going to improve in any way, whether you're working in a shop in a corner, whether you're working in the biggest football association in the world. If you all are singing one song and moving forward with the same idea, you'll be successful. But if you have splits and gaps in your organization, it's never going to work. So sometimes when you have a smaller organization, smaller population, you might be more successful because you have less bosses and more leaders to take you forward, and less politics. And I think that's Africa's biggest problem is everybody thinks we know what we're doing. Everybody is a football connoisseur. Everybody is a master. Everybody can take this country forward. But
too many chiefs, no workers.
But truth be told, in the last 30 years, we've gone backwards. That's
horribly backwards. Swoosh, your moment of the week?
Definitely for the Spurs guys, Mocha and Petson and Bergson and a whole list. Because with Antonio Conte was thumping for the Harry Kane winner. So that's my moment of the week. Mamparo of the week.
Oh, sorry, Swoosh, continue.
Mamparo of the week, Romelu Lukaku for that stat. It's a long stat, but it was just 0, 0, 0, 0. 0 passes, 0 effort, 0, 0, 0, 0. So, and for leaving Inter. So
look, at least he's got a Club World Cup winner medal around his neck. His team's got the points. He didn't perform to the best of his ability. Let's cut the Chelsea players some slack. But okay, that's your Mampara. Jive, your moment of the week?
Look, my moment of the week has to, I think I did mention it earlier with Aubameyang. I think people don't realize he's had a tough few months. Like I said, champions in KF. He was sent back home because of health reasons. He had the discipline issues with Arsenal, and it was a tough few months for him. And to see him back on the score sheet, scoring goals, and it doesn't matter they left the team that we support and the team that we love. Sometimes it's also good for the human being, and we mustn't forget. And I think that's what a lot of people forget in football and in life. Your time in certain places are very short. But
It's
let's
not gonna
not
be
forget.
forever.
Yeah, let's not forget what those people have done for you. And that's
Sure.
one thing I've learned in my time in football and in my family's time. People's memories are very short.
Yeah.
People's memories are very short, and we sometimes forget what the good they've done for us. So I also want to take my hats off to him for scoring that goal. And he is a quality player. Let's hope he can bring that confidence and lift his career again.
Fantastic. So, moment of the week I've got. Last week, some of the United players, all footballers, all clubs encourage visiting ill people and patients and kids. So Harry Maguire paid a visit to a kid called River Rhodes. He's battling with cancer. He's about 6 or 7 years old. And there was a nice little video clip of him and the kid hugging. So the kid sent a message, which has gone viral on social media, to Maguire before the game on Instagram. And he said, "Good luck, score a header for me, mate. And don't forget the knee slide." So Maguire replied after the game and he said, "That was for you, River." And Wayne Rooney picked up on that and he said, "Class, thumbs up." So Harry Maguire, moment of the week, well done, class act.
Mr. MKB, I know you're trying to lift Harry Maguire's career, but
No. He's done a good thing, and it needs to be.
No,
it needs to be
that's a
recognized.
very good thing he's done, but
Harry
is Harry, man.
And he scored. He scored. Maybe the kid needs to tell him more often. Good luck with scoring.
Maybe he needs to take this child with him in the changing room also. Maybe it's his luck.
Well done, Harry Maguire. We give on the show, we give credit where it's due. We're not extremely biased like our Liverpool counterparts. We do give credit where it's due.
Look, that's an amazing thing. I mean, it's not from a footballing point. It doesn't affect his skill. From a humanitarian point, it's a great thing. But on that topic, I think there was a similar incident. Somebody was mentioning. I don't have facts on that, but I think he was actually FaceTiming someone, with a similar incident where there was a kid with cancer. On that, I agree with you.
You pointed out as well earlier in the season the Brentford manager. Remember, there was a kid in a wheelchair as well, and he went over after the game to go and greet him specifically. So this is what you want to see. This is what you want to see. Not cats being used for footballs, but this is the humanitarian side we want to see of players with their responsibility that they carry. Gentlemen, it's been a fantastic show. Guys, thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe. Please remember to follow us on Instagram as well. Your comments are very, very welcome. Swoosh, as always, we're going to keep Swoosh up. We're going to press him, Jive and I, for that promise for the title. Swoosh, 3 years haven't elapsed, 4 years haven't elapsed. So, Jive, shall we get the espresso warmed?
Espresso, I need to go and get a suit. Maybe I must go and rent one, or must I buy one? Just let me know.
I'll join you. We need to go and get suited up for this. This is a special occasion. We'll live stream it, ladies and gents. We'll live stream it for you. Thanks for watching from us. Swoosh, Jive, thanks for the show. We'll see you guys next week.
What's up, guys? Yeah.